From others. An audio medium unlike anything you've ever heard before. The pinnacle of sound experience. Jacked and Canned. Featuring John Tessman and Colby Tyler. A place where you will get the information you crave. And hear about the topics that you love. Presented by themselves. Coming to you from the basement, bar, and the bedroom. Sponsored by no one. Jacked and Canned.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jacked and Canned. John, now tonight we actually get to start off with a little bit of breaking news. I don't know if you have looked at anything in the last hour. It's very rare that we get any of this kind of stuff that happens during the timelines that we ever record our show, considering we do them twice a week, typically later in the evening. So, John, Buccaneers coach Bruce Arians retires from coaching, will be going into the front office, expected to be replaced by Todd Bowles. Now, John, first, let me just get a reaction out of you from that. What's the first few things that come to your mind?
Does it have anything to do with Tom Brady coming back? And was that part of the whole thing of why Brady came back and said, hey, I want this guy to step down? And the Buccaneers organization said, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and shift you over to the front office. We want Brady back. We want to win another Super Bowl. That's what runs through my head.
So, John, I'll tell you the order in which things ran through my head. My first thought was, is he just doing a Brady? Is he just going to be back here like the end of July being like, yeah, I just wanted a long off season. Yeah, I'm back. I'm coaching again. That was my first thought. And then I was like, well, maybe he wanted to go to the front office because he told everybody as a coach the asking price for Tom Brady is 5 first-round picks, basically stating that Tom Brady will not be playing anywhere other than Tampa. And I was like, oh, well, maybe that's his way of just being like, yeah, and I'm going to stick to it. And then, John, it hit me, well, what if without Arians being the guy, what if that now changes that price and maybe Arians knows something and he's getting out of there now, and maybe one of those Brady moves to Miami, San Francisco, wherever, maybe that's going to be rolling here in the very near future.
So, maybe, but I just feel like with Tom first saying that he was going to retire and then Tom was like, yeah, I'm going to be back in the Buccaneers organization. I feel like he's not going to swap it up that much. You know what I mean? Like,
John, remember he also said he was going to retire.
That's what I just said. Yeah, he said that he was going to retire. Yeah,
and now he's not retired. So I wouldn't be shocked if, I'm coming back as a Buck. Doesn't necessarily mean he's coming back as a Buck either.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like him saying that, though, and then saying he's going to be a Buck. I feel like 3 times or kind of changing up your tune is one too many. You don't think
he can be Tommy 2-time?
Yeah, I feel like it's one too many, Colbs. I feel like it's one too many. I don't know. That's just my thought. If he does it again, I mean, Tom Brady, I know he's getting older and stuff, but damn, like, what the hell? You've never done this your whole life. Like,
no, but I mean, a lot of things have been different ever since he left New England, man. He's a lot more enjoyable. It looks like he's actually having fun out there. He's become less of a robot. I'm just saying, John, a lot of times when you see a coach step down, especially one who has Tom Brady as the quarterback, you have a chance at winning the Super Bowl, and it seems like odd timing that now all of a sudden he wants to be out of that job. To me, that signifies that there might be some news coming in the very near future about where a certain particular Tom Brady might be playing football next year, because it very well may not be Tampa.
Damn you, Colbs. You're going to make me put a 50-cent bet down on the Miami Dolphins. Damn you. I'm going to take a sip to that.
I love that you're going to have a 50-cent bet on every team by the end of this season. You're going to have all 32 teams winning the Super Bowl.
And you know what would be funny, though? If somebody wins it and the odds are so stacked against them, I still
that it actually evens out.
Or it might make a little bit. That would be
I thought
funny.
About it just by doing like a $20 bet on every team and just like, let's see which one wins.
Yeah.
But
Hey, for
yeah,
fun.
John. Okay, I thought maybe we'd get a little bit more fun out of that
Well,
conversation.
no. Honestly, I think it's something interesting because I mean, is Bruce Arians gonna pull something like Tom Brady did, and how Tom was like, "Yeah, I'm retired," and then Bruce Arians is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to the front office," and then Bruce Arians goes and shifts over to who knows where, and he actually ends up going to be a head coach somewhere else. Does
Well,
that pave the way for any of the other players in that organization to go through? Does that throw anybody off as well, Copes? Like, I don't know how well loved this guy was over there in the Bucks locker room, but it seemed like they really digged him at the freaking Super Bowl party. But yet again,
uh,
they're drinking and they're partying. It's a Super Bowl party, so I get that.
yeah.
But I don't know. What does it do? Does it
No, well
throw him off course?
that is another piece to it too, John, is that it actually didn't appear that a whole ton of these players love Bruce Arians. There's a lot of guys. I mean, we saw what happened with Antonio Brown, and
Yeah.
obviously we know that Antonio Brown's a little bit different from the majority of other players in football. But I would say that it never quite seemed like Brady and Arians got along either. And part of this to me, you had said, and
Yeah.
also Jay said this. I talked with Jay, and he had mentioned, he's like, I honestly, he probably just wanted a coach that he likes more. And,
Yeah.
you know, I know that Brady gets along with both the offensive and defensive coordinators there in Tampa with Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles. And Todd Bowles is supposed to be who's going to be taking over here. Now, I don't know. This is just one of these things where with Bruce Arians, because my first thought was the same as yours. Is he just doing a Brady thing? Is he going to be unretired in like 2 months and he just wants a long off season? That was the first place my mind went, and then the other thoughts came through, and I was like, oh yeah, coaches don't normally step down when they have Tom Brady.
No. And especially to your point, Colbs, how you're saying he was making that statement, the 5 first-round picks and stuff, like he's locked in. I
Well,
don't
the
know.
other
That
thing
just
too is they're just saying that he's going to have a spot in the front office. They're not saying he's going to be necessarily the GM. They're not saying, like, they have not specified what he's doing in the front office. So he very well just may be a consultant, which means that he could do nothing or have a lot to say.
in Colbs, honestly, that's another one of those positions that seems really freaking awesome right behind the backup quarterback thing. In Colbs, you would be a kick freaking ass person in the front office. You would. You really would. So
Yeah, I actually do think I would do all right at that. I would not be great at scouting young talent, though, so I don't want to be part of that department. But once the players are already there and I see what they are and what they have become, and I don't have to predict what they will become, yeah, I could build a team pretty well.
shout out to Zach for the recruiting. Shout out to you,
Yeah.
Zach, for breaking on the tape.
Wow, Zach and I could go ahead and just take over an NFL front office. How about
See?
that?
Cole, start off smaller. Arena football, FCF, USFL,
Breaking down the
XFL.
cans.
Dude, I'm on board, man. I'm getting so excited, man. I know it's completely separate. I know I mentioned it on the other pod as well that we just did. And I'm getting pumped for the freaking USFL to kick off, man. Oh, I'm so
John,
excited.
you want me to talk about some of the things we're going to talk about tonight real quick?
Absolutely. Let's give a little teaser.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about an NFL rule change that recently took place.
Ooh.
We will be talking about the Oscars because there
Okay.
was a massive thing that happened at the Oscars. And now, as always, there will be a crack and a cold one. But tonight, your crack and a cold one is going to be with John. It will not be with Kolbs. Now, Kolbs will be drinking a beer along with John. However, I will be the one taking the time while John is kicking back and enjoying himself a nice beverage because John is going to have to crack a cold one tonight and tell us why he needs to crack a cold one.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for that segment to come up. Is this
So
the first time ever?
John, I actually think we did it one time, towards the beginning of the show. I think we gave it a shot of cracking a cold one with John. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know.
But for those of you who didn't get to watch last night or listen last night, what John and I did, because John was driving, so he couldn't do Who's on Top for our roundtable episode. And because John couldn't have the access to do all that while driving, I gave Who's on Top for John. And yes, I did include the AHL, even though I didn't want to. I included it because I was doing it in the spirit of Johnny and the way that John would want to do it. So tonight, in place of me doing that for him, he is going to be cracking a cold one tonight for me.
Hell yeah.
Now, John, would you like to start with any of the aforementioned topics, or are we going to kick it off into a completely different direction?
Open. I'm going to leave it up to you because now I feel fulfilled that I actually get to do the crack in a cold one when John segment. So I'm going to leave this open for you.
All right. So, John, I want to wait till the second half of the show to talk about a couple of these things. While we're already doing just a little bit of NFL news to break there to begin the show, why don't we go ahead here and talk about the NFL rule change that's recently taken place? Now, John, I don't know if you had heard this or not, because I know that you catch some things and then some things you don't catch. Now, oh, whoa. Okay. I guess you can never anticipate when that's going to happen.
So what Colbs is doing, he's actually that's a genuine reaction that he has over this rule change from the NFL. Colbs,
no, John, I like where you're going with it, but no, John, that is not what is taking place here, sir. John, the NFL has changed the overtime rules. So now, regardless of what happens in the first possession, both teams will get a chance to have the ball. So even if the first team to get the ball in overtime scores a touchdown, the opposing team will have a chance to go match that touchdown. And this rule 100% comes from that Chiefs-Bills game, that beautiful divisional round game, my second favorite game that I ever watched in football, and it's riding the line of my first. Though, well, you know what? I guess I could say they're tied for second because the Seahawks Super Bowl, I mean, it wasn't a close game, but it was a blast for me. Now, John, what this does is now when you have two of these explosive offenses, you don't necessarily see it stop just because a touchdown got scored on the first possession in overtime. And that could make games like that Chiefs-Bills game even more fun. Now, what I'd really like to see them do, and I'm not kidding when I say this, is for them to have that go unlimited, where it's not like if both teams score a touchdown that then the next possession wins. Man, I'd like to see it just keep going back and forth like college football until one team scores and the other team can't match it. I think that would be so much fun in the NFL with the way offenses are going. And in a lot of ways, I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to football. Like, I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of like the player safety things that even though I fully understand, I myself have never been a huge fan. Like, I hate that now you can't touch somebody unless you hit them dead on somewhere between the bottom of the shoulders. I've noticed it cannot be at the middle of the shoulders. It has to be at the bottom. You basically get the top of the chest to like the waistline, not even the hips. You have to hit people in there. And granted, there are still some beautiful hits that can take place there. I just miss the idea of football having that as a rule. And granted, go ahead and poop on me if that's what anybody in the audience wants to do for that. That's fine. I get it. And I fully understand. And I would do the same thing. But from a visual standpoint, as a consumer, it's lesser for me. I thought that it was funner when some of the games were still 9-6. There's a lot of stuff with pass interference that I don't like in today's NFL. We argued for like 4 years what a catch is. Like, it's ridiculous. I wish they could just go out there and play football a little bit more. However, this rule change, I am all in on. If we're just going to do this show of, hey, let's green light offenses, then give it the green light, man. Don't hold back. Hold back nothing. Let offenses do everything they want to do. Make that like and anything short of turning this into literally the Arena League, go for it.
Damn. All right.
John, what do you think about the rule change?
Well, I totally agree with you. It definitely stems from that Bills-Chiefs game, 100%. If you're the Bills, it's really got to hurt. I mean, you're like,
that is one thing, John, I think of every time there's one of these rule changes that was clearly based on one play or one game. I feel so bad for the team that it just went against, and that's why they changed the rule. It's like, well, I mean...
It's one season too late. Not even one full season. A couple of months too
we're talking
late.
A total of like 3 football games later.
Yeah. That part, that even hurts me a little bit seeing that, because I'm like, That's brutal. But looking at it from that point of view, you know what, Colbs? I think it's great overall. I mean, honestly, it's only going to help the game. It's going to help the fans. I think the fans were kind of getting sick of it from the way I looked at it, of how the overtime was handled, especially after seeing some of the other leagues and how they kind of do things and changing up the rules, and people were kind of calling for some changes here and there. Like the XFL, USFL is going to be doing some different things. Not that you can compare them. I get it. The NFL is a mega monster on a whole nother scale, but Colb's, change up some things. Sometimes it works out. And I think that right there is going to be huge. Now, going into next season, I'm excited because there's going to be two teams battling at it, and this is going to be a deciding factor. And you could say, hey, they both had an even chance.
We'll see. Here's another thing, John, that I had pieced together, and you bring up a great point there that leads me to this, is that now if that first team goes and scores a touchdown, you go down and score a touchdown, you have a decision to make. Do we want to go for 2 now and just win this game outright from right here? And we could just steal it from them, not even give them the chance to get the ball back again.
Ooh. Wow. I didn't think about that. Damn.
That's beneficial for teams like the Ravens that have Lamar Jackson, that it's very hard to stop from 2 yards out, pretty much regardless of what's going on, because you never know if there's not a pass that's there, he's just going to take off.
That's a good point. Dude, you know what? I could foresee that happening too. And if it does, I mean, that's a high risk move, obviously. I don't know. Football, baseball, really all the sports, maybe with the exception of basketball now, but everybody's just following the analytics. And
no, basketball does too. That's why the whole league just shoots threes now.
So yeah, with that said, man, goals. Damn, that's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm excited to see it, though. I'm excited to see it play out, but I'm with you. If a team is feeling bold enough, and to your point, if they got the ability, like, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick
Josh
Mahomes.
Allen's another great example of that, because Josh Allen, that guy runs like a fullback, man. Like, he doesn't even make people miss. He just puts his shoulder down and he picks up 4 yards.
Yeah, he's like a Taysom Hill, except Allen's got a cannon of an arm.
Bigger. Well, he's also just bigger.
Yes. But that's the only kind of comparable, like, just I'm going to run into you. I'm going to try to truck you. I don't care.
Cam Newton back when Cam Newton had all of it.
True. Even Cam Newton this last season, he had a couple of nice runs in there, which, Colbs, real quick on that topic, I know we've revisited it a little while ago once the NFL season kind of ended there, but is he going to be playing anywhere? I know there's a lot of quarterback talk. Is he going to go to Seattle?
So Seattle and Atlanta are both somewhat interested.
Ooh, you don't say that with a huge smile on your face. YouTube listeners or YouTube watchers, you'll know this. But if you're listening to the pod, Colbs does not seem excited.
I mean, in all seriousness, if we get him, we're not going to be any better. So it's really not that. I just don't want to get somebody that makes us just good enough to be middle of the pack.
7 wins.
Playoffs. Yeah, exactly. I don't want that. I want to either be pretty bad, which Cam Newton will bring us, but I'd rather, there's no difference at this point. Cam Newton, Drew Lock, Geno Smith. I mean, Geno's probably the clear-cut bottom of, well, actually, I don't even know, man, because Cam Newton has not looked good in the last couple of seasons. So, in all seriousness, I just know that Drew Lock's probably the best shot we have at winning, but even him, I don't see us getting more than 5 or 6 wins.
Fair enough.
We got 9 draft picks this year. We just need to use those 9 draft picks and build a damn team. That's step one. Let's do that. And then we can figure out where we're going to, I'm going to keep saying this every week. Your draft day is going to come, John. I can already tell you, I'm going to be red in the face the day after. I'm going to be screaming and yelling because I know that they're just going to end up making picks that I don't want.
Well, I don't know, man. Seattle, The whole NFL, dude, I'm lost. I don't know what the hell's going to happen in this whole offseason. I'm already thrown off. Bruce Arians today. This offseason seems like there's more moves than there ever has been. So I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Mahomes just gets traded to Seattle in a freaking blockbuster deal, and then he's over there with DK and Tyler Lockett. You'll be a happy camper at that point.
Wow. And Patrick Mahomes knows how to play with a pretty bad offensive line, too.
Colbs, I'm just saying, he'll have some offensive weapons there at the receiving core.
Yeah,
I mean, Juju will be stranded
those
over
guys
there.
Both run.
So
we just would need to get him a Travis Kelce type guy.
If there's a possibility for any trades or off-season moves in FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever it is, I might have to go ahead and put another 50-cent bet on that idea right there, just in case if it happens, because the odds are probably slim, very, very slim. Andy Reid does not want to lose Patrick Mahomes. Guaranteed.
No, Mahomes isn't moving anywhere anytime soon. But the idea of it's fun.
Yeah, the idea of it's fun. And it's so unpredictable this year. I wouldn't be surprised. Devontae Adams, I never would have thought that would have happened. Tyreek Hill, I never would have thought that would have happened.
You know, I actually heard something interesting about this, John, and I hadn't really thought of it on my own. This was something that I had heard. When Christian Kirk got the massive deal from Jacksonville, that kind of rebalanced the receiver market. So then all of a sudden you got Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill wanting more money. They're like, well, no, the money you're giving me ain't enough. Look at what Christian Kirk just got. And then they pushed for it so that they would get more money, and they pushed beyond what the limit of what the team was willing to spend. But that to me is just crazy. The idea that third receiver Christian Kirk can go out there and get some mega deal where now all of a sudden guys like Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams have to go away from John. When I say go away, I mean, I'm talking they're leaving Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes respectively. That's the teams these guys are leaving just because there's that much money out there that they're like, you know what? I'm going to go take the bags of money.
Yeah. Oh, man. Interesting, dude. I'm excited for it. Just keep the NFL news coming, but at least pause for USFL. You know what else I'm excited for, Colbs? You know where we're at right now in the episode?
I think it's about time that we might be cracking a cold one.
Be right back, ladies and gents.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for Cracking a Cold One with John. This is the segment where John is going to drink a beer and Colbs is going to give you an interesting fact.
Real quick, thank you so much for cracking that for me, because I was panicking. I had one right here. YouTube watchers, you'll see. I ran to go get this other one. I'm like, damn, I'm reading this label here, and it says, find your way back. I'm like, I'm in my own house. Like, how dangerous is this beer? I'm trying to read the percentage. I'm like, what the hell is this thing? Like 20%? But 4.9% Colbs. So thank you for cracking that. Let me go ahead here and take a sip of the one that I already have open.
Yes, absolutely. And John, the interesting fact that I would like to give to the audience tonight is, oddly enough, in a search, I just decided to see how long giraffes can hold their breath. And in doing so, I didn't even get the answer to that. I actually gave up on that because I found out in this search that scorpions can hold their breath for 6 days.
Damn.
Yeah, okay. I said I don't give a shit anymore what giraffes can do. What do you mean a scorpion can hold their breath for 6 days? I didn't look into it, John. Don't ask me any follow-up questions. I have nothing more. I just wanted to present you with that as the fact while you kicked back and had yourself a little beverage.
Well, hell yeah. Cheers to that, man. I like it. It's super random. It must tie into your Toys R Us roots. Jeffrey the giraffe. There must be something subconsciously.
There actually was, yeah.
See?
I was thinking of Jeffrey when it came to my mind. I was like, oh, what can I make an interesting fact? What's Jeffrey doing?
Exactly. So I'm happy about that. All right. My Cracking a Cold One with John segment is about hats being stolen.
Oh God.
Hats being stolen. Oh, so I just want to bring this up, right? Let's say you're out and about, you're having a good time, you're out at a bar, seeing a band, and then one of your good buddies,
Hanging with your buddy.
hanging with your buddies, and one of your buddies is out there dancing, and all of a sudden, boom, snatch, your hat gets stolen. Not from another dude, but from a chick. But you don't get your hat back. Gentlemen, even ladies, I'm sure you could relate to this. It doesn't have to just be a hat. It could have been your favorite sweater, your shirt, kind of weird. I don't know, your sock, your Crocs, your shoes. You get where I'm going with. Well, maybe not the shoes.
No. If that was my Crocs, I would have been brawling in the parking lot to get those back.
So Croc Life, baby, Croc Life. We love you. Please, if you want to sponsor us, Crocs, I have a whole bunch of pairs now. I went from 0 to like 5. And I got them all different colors. But anyways, that's besides the point, Goals. I freaking love the Crocs. Damn you for getting me off topic. But if it was one of those more, well, anyone could really relate to it. Whatever that special item is in your life, right? I'm sure everybody has something that they've had taken from them. And Coles, I'm sorry. Ladies and gents, I'm sorry, because our one and only Coles was the victim of this assault. So that is my cracking a cold one with John segment, that I'm feeling sorry. I'm feeling sad for Coles. He's not wearing his hat. Coles, don't you typically wear your hat on the broadcast? I don't know.
Well, I guess first, let me go ahead, just because we probably confused the audience here and they're curious as to what was going on. So let me break this down a little bit here. We're going to break down the story.
All right, here we go. Cracking a cold one with Coles.
So
wait. Hang on. Ready? Cracking a cold one
there
with
it
Coles.
is. Yeah. Turn it back around. So I went to we'll begin this day. This is Saturday, and this began at about 12:30 for me. Met a bunch of the guys at Hooters. We were there for a few hours, and we had a pretty good time. And then we left there to go to a local establishment known as we'll just call it the Pub. We'll just keep names out of everything, just the Pub. So, John, we're over there. And we're having a great time. And oddly enough, for the audience, and I was not anticipating this was not planned. John texted me and asked if I wanted to go at that particular establishment that night.
Not planned at all. So I am doing a gig over, well, not too far in 45 minutes away from the pub area. But either way, I was ready. I wanted to go out. I'm like, you know what? Having a good day. I'm like, let me text Golds. Sure enough, he writes back to me, yeah, we're planning on going there. I'm like, what? There's not a chance in this world you're still going to be there by the time I get there.
Cool. Yeah, I know. This is like 4 or 5 hours before John was supposed to be able to get there. And I'm like, we'll see, I guess.
I'm still in the intro of the whole party. It's like literally 3 o'clock. And he's like, yeah, we're planning on going over there. Like, yeah, we're over here now. But Colts, continue.
So we ended up having a blast, and John wanted to come to this particular place because there's a certain 80s cover band that was coming there called The Leftovers, who are awesome, by the way. If you get a chance to see The Leftovers, if you're anywhere in the New England area, check them out. It's worth it. They are very good. So we hang on till about the time John gets there, and then you start seeing some people bail here and there, but I'm like, John just got here. I'm not leaving. Now I got John. So we're hanging out, and eventually it's just me, John, and Rose, and the three of us are having fun. And since nobody else is there anymore, we're like, hell yeah, let's tear up the stage now. So we're up there, we're having a good time. And this particular person decided to come up next to me and just grab my hat and start dancing around with it. And I'm like, all right, can I get this? But no, okay. So she just wasn't really letting it go for a little bit there. And, John, I got put in the very awkward scenario of just, I guess there's really no way
Please tell our audience what she said.
Yeah.
Because there's no way around it. There's no
there's not like a shortcut here. She said, look, I get it. I'm short and I'm fat, but I never get this. So let me have this. I'm like, well, damn, What do you do about that? So, I'm sitting there and I'm just like giving Rose eyes because I'm like, Rose, do something. Cause like I'm out of options now. I kind of have to just sit here and take this, right? Like this is terrible. Like I don't want any of this going on. Like I'm just trying to hang out with John and Rose, and you're over here stealing my hat and being weird. And yeah, she Rose went to go collect my hat, and she literally clutched the thing, threw it in her purse, and ran out of the bar with it. So I currently don't have a hat now, John. I did actually order one the next day, and
From where?
From Under Armour. I'm getting the exact same hat, so
Okay.
I should be seeing it Friday. And here's the problem.
Oh my
that I have
God.
with
Hold
shipping.
on. You should be getting it Friday. I really want her to be one of those Amazon package stealing people and walk right up to your doorstep and say the same exact thing to you when you go to get that package. I want this to happen so badly.
I go to pick it up and she's just standing at the door. I'm short and I'm fat and I never get this. Let me have this. And she just grabs the package and runs back into the Amazon van.
I want this to happen so badly.
Ugh.
Like, please.
Well, John, here's the
steal your
problem I have with
package.
shipping, right? So here's how stupid this is. This thing came from Brockton and it
Yeah,
went
Brockton.
right.
Yep, Mass. Yep.
Yep. And it went right to the South Windsor facility. And as you know, John, South Windsor is a town over from me.
Very close.
So it is sitting there at South Windsor, and they had to ship it to Seekonk, Mass, to ship it back to me. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I could have just gone and picked it up. Like, it's that close to me. I could have driven 15 minutes. I could have gotten this damn thing. And here I am, hatless till Friday.
That's how it goes.
Is it? Because this seems like a flaw in the Matrix somewhere. I feel like that there should be an easier way for me to get my damn hat.
Unfortunately, there isn't an easy way to get it, man. It's just you got to let it happen. You're just not meant to have a hat anymore. Plain and simple. It's done. It's
No.
over with.
That's absolutely not the truth. I should always have a hat.
Cobes, it's like the old slogan from freaking MTV. I want my MTV. You want my hat. I want Colb's hat.
HAT.
I want Colb's hat. I want Colb's hat. Ladies and gents, if we ever get big, please come back to this episode. If you ever see Colb's wearing a hat, you have my permission. You have Colb's
you
permission.
do not. No. John. No.
Hang on. Let me zoom into you for the
No.
What do you got to say to our fans?
No.
They cannot sign your hat?
No, they can't. No, don't touch the damn thing. Go do something else. I don't care what. Just not that.
This is dangerous territory. We're starting to get the old Colb's back right there. The old Colb's. So he's coming out. Colb's, I think
I'm
right
flustered,
now,
man.
I was going to say, we need to swap our topics. What else did you have on your mind? Let's swap
speaking
this
of people being flustered, did you get to see anything from the Oscars, John?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what did you think when I say? Because I don't feel like you picked up on it when I first said it at the beginning of the show. Did you think I wanted to talk about the actual awards? Because I couldn't give a shit less.
To be honest with you, I do know that you and Michelle watch a whole bunch of different shows together and stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, they probably just watched the Oscars and everything. And you didn't say what it was at first. So yeah, I just kind of let it ride. But yeah, the Will Smith and Chris Rock scene, I heard about it at first. Now, I didn't watch the Oscars live. I heard about it at first and I was like, that can't be, that had to be something, right? And then I saw the video and just reading the body language on Chris Rock at first, that was 100% real because he felt you could see like anxiety and like a little bit of like unsureness. He's like, what's happening? Like, why is this happening? You could see like that kind of, I don't know, that kind of like physical change in his body language. And then Will Smith comes up And Chris Rock probably thought it was a joke still at the time
Yeah,
when Will
I think
Smith
he
was
did the
walking up.
entirety of the way up Will Smith's walk up there. I think that
Mhm.
Chris thought that he was gonna just do
Hug him.
something to make a little bit of a bit there and then just walk back to his seat. He was not anticipating actually getting slapped in the face, and by the way, that was one of the most beautiful thrown slaps that I think I've ever seen, even though I don't understand the point of slapping somebody.
Now, Colbs, I know that that was a slap. This is gonna sound silly. If that was a flat out fist punch where Chris Rock falls on the ground and let's just say gets KO'd, what happens to that whole night? That's totally different. No one's
Well,
there to host it. They shut it down. What the frig?
so, I mean, yeah, that goes incredibly differently because John, what ended up happening, I mean, police asked Chris Rock if he wanted to press charges and he declined to. Now, if Chris Rock's laying on the ground unconscious, that means he's being taken out of there right then. And by the way, I just saw something that they did actually ask Will Smith to leave after that, and he refused to.
Well, there's a whole Will Smith is catching a ton of heat right now. There's other, celebrity figures, call it that way, that's saying that, it was appalling behavior, this and that. And they're really calling on like, local authorities, literally everybody to make an example and say, hey, this is not cool
Man,
behavior to even do something like this.
well, I think with Chris not pressing charges, I don't think that there should be something from a legal standpoint. That was the chance for that to happen, and I don't think that anything should be followed up on based upon that. But the real piece of this is that I actually can understand both sides of this so much because I mean Chris Rock's he's there to be an act, right? And even though the
True.
joke was obviously offensive to Jada Pinkett Smith, I this is a weird place where we find ourselves today where you're not supposed to settle anything with violence, and that's understandable, nor should it be done that way.
Right.
And there's always been there's a massive thing in the male world of being told that you got to stand up when somebody's disrespecting your lady, but at the same time, you got to do it non-violently, and it's that's the way that it's promoted. But also in today's day and age, like if things are going to be settled verbally, then what's the point of me getting up and doing anything about it? Because my wife can take care of herself. Like she can insult the guy back just as well.
Yeah.
Probably
I'm
even better because I'm going to be sitting here heated, just yelling nah, at him, and she'll probably have a better comeback.
I didn't even understand the joke at first. It went way over my head because I didn't realize it was a movie reference. So I was like, "Oh, okay." Like just saying she
Really?
looks like a soldier. That's that's the way I looked at it. So you get it like that kind of perspective too, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what the hell
Well,
that
I mean,
means."
here's part of it that was kind of strange too, John, is that honestly, like, it really wasn't even a good joke, even beyond the fact that it was obviously found offensive by her. But even if it wasn't, the joke still wasn't really that good anyway. So the idea that this had, and you could see it from Will too, where he had originally laughed at the joke, and then after noticing her reaction, then decided, oh, I got to go up and slap this dude. So I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, I can't imagine being in that spot where I feel the need that I need to go physically. Well, I mean, I'm not really a slap kind of person anyway, but
Coles.
let's not
That's
dive
funny.
into that part of it. But I can't imagine a place where I'm going to physically harm somebody just because they made a joke about whoever. Like it's a joke. I mean, yeah, I mean it can be taken as poorly as it can be, and that's fine. But that just means the dude's a dick, and he's gonna get whatever's coming to him from that, from just nobody giving him a laugh, nobody appreciating what he's doing, everybody, especially when you got that kind of level of fame. You know what social media would have done to him had Will Smith just sat there. Chris Rock he would have been the one getting all the heat, but instead Chris Rock takes a slap to the face, which, by the way, dude's got a chin on him. He barely moved,
Yeah.
and he kept the show going. I mean, granted, after he kind of realized everything was real, once Will got back to his seat and was yelling at him, then I think Chris got more rattled at that point where he's like, oh, he wasn't messing around. That wasn't just like, hey, I'm going to slap you and go sit down and we'll all laugh about it after. Like, he's legitimately pissed at me. You could tell that he got a little bit rattled after, but he quickly turned around with a little retort of, whatever it was. This is the most exciting night in Hollywood, or whatever he said.
Yeah,
and that was quick. That was showmanship. That was something there. I just can't picture the circumstance. And like I've heard this dissected from every angle. And the thing is, I do get it from both sides. I don't have much of an opinion just because I do understand it from both sides, but I do find it incredibly interesting, and it's something that's fun to dissect and to just work around. It's like a social experiment almost. Just what do you think of this? And it's like, well, damn, I see where they're both coming from. I mean, Will shouldn't have slapped them. Chris shouldn't have made the joke, but it wasn't something that you should be slapping people over. That's really the only thing that I've come to. And I don't think that that's really me going out there and branching out with some rabid take of, you see a lot of these shows, people just yelling at each other. No, there's just what you should have done. It's like, well, calm down.
Yeah, man. It definitely added a whole flair to it. And what I'm wondering is this going to hurt Will Smith's career a little bit? Because he's so safe. He's like the safest dude out there. He's safe when it comes to rapping. He's safe when it comes to violence. He's always preached like kind of love and everything. Like the dude didn't even curse in any of his songs. He's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's loved by kids,
dude,
teens,
the best
and
thing
adults.
The best thing I've seen on social media, John, this one did make me laugh. This was a good joke. Is that it'll have like a meme where it's him slapping Chris in the one side of the meme, and then the second side is him having to go live with his aunt and uncle in Bel Air because he just got in a fight in West Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
It's like an origin story.
The internet is they're gold. I saw a really good one. The Impractical Jokers. It was it was
they're
them
always
one of the
good.
memes, and they're like, go slap Chris Rock right now. And it just shows Will Smith like leaning back, and then the guys from Impractical Jokers like laughing in the back in the booth. And I'm like, that's a good one too. So it's maybe it's a much needed distraction from for everyone out there right now. But
that's the thing. So many people want to turn this into like some heated thing where you're either right or wrong based on what you think on it. And it's like, no, this you can't do it with this. This is Hollywood, man. Just let it be ridiculous. It is anyway.
It's Vince McMahon. If you're somehow listening to this, which you're definitely not, that is your next fight right there. That's next year's WrestleMania. Actually, surprise visit for this year's WrestleMania while it's still hot. Chris Rock and Will Smith.
People are already talking about how they could be in one of the next. Like I think Jake Paul had offered for them to be fight on his undercard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I could totally see that happening.
Which, by the way, these guys are in their like mid to upper 50s. Like this isn't, and also Will Smith is actually significantly larger than Chris Rock, as it turns out.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know. Chris seems like a lover, not a fighter. So that's just my view on it. The dude's in comedy. I don't see him brawling people. But to your point,
no, you don't see a lot of comedians that are out there fist fighting people.
No. To your point, though, he took that one. He took that shot. So, hey.
Yeah. I don't know what else to do with it, but I mean, I feel like this isn't one of these where you can't go through it happening and not talk about it. Like, I know there's a lot of things that we choose to not talk about because we know it's divisive. This can't be one of those things. It just can't be. I don't care what your opinion is on it. To me, this is Hollywood. This is ridiculous. This is stupid shit. This is what happens in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy it for what it's worth.
Yeah, 100%, man. Totally agree with that. Homie, we're about at that time. Do we got any other topics before we wrap up today's show?
No, I say we go ahead and shut it down. I think we had some fun tonight. We got to crack a cold one with John. We discovered the shipping issues with evidently hats, and we discussed some real good NFL breaking news at the top of the episode. So, John, why don't you go ahead and plug us?
Ladies and gents, thank you as always for checking out another episode of the Jacked and Canned Show. Check us out on all social media platforms, Jacked and Canned. Check out our boys breaking down the tape. write to us, jackedandcanned@gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, you got anything that you want to add in here. We see you, listeners. You're still coming every week. We don't know who you are, but we see you. We see that you're there. So let us know. Who the hell are you? I mean, thank you. As always, big thank you. So definitely appreciate it. We've seen the spike in listens. So huge thanks. And Colbs, this has been another episode of
Jacked and Canned.
Ladies